Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be checking out and hooking up the buyer's product 12 volt toggle switch. A toggle switch is a very simple component but critical. This is going to be a single pole, single throw type switch. So essentially you're just going to have off and on. So you'll hook up your wiring to it and the switch will interrupt the circuit, allowing you to power something on or turn it off. So very versatile. Especially in 12 volt systems, you can use them on a ton of different things. We're using it on a boat today. You can put it on an ATV, side by side, your vehicle, campers, motorhomes, all that type of stuff that uses 12 volt circuitry, whether you're hooking up lights or whatever, So we actually are using ours today for lights on the front of our boat. And I just simply replaced an existing momentary switch, which was for the horn. So the horn quit working, really expensive part, not going to deal with it. And so I just used this circuitry that was already here to hook up the lights. Well, I don't want lights on a momentary switch like that. So that's why we chose to use a toggle switch. That way we can keep them on and turn them off whenever we're ready. This particular switch, I'd say is kind of on the medium light duty side. If you're going to be using it to, power up something that draws a lot of amperage, especially for a long time, I'd probably think about maybe getting something a little more heavy duty, but kind of a good general purpose switch. Work for a lot of different things. It is zinc plated too, so that should help keep it in good shape, or better shape, especially if it's going to be outside exposed to the elements. And one thing I do like about it is the size. It's relatively compact, so it should fit in a lot of different areas. But we'll go ahead, give you a few measurements now just to make sure that it'll work, with your exact application. If you look at the actual main body of the switch, that's going to be about 1 inch long. If you add the terminals to it, it's going to be about 1.5 inches. In terms of the width, looks like about 1/2 inch there. And if you go this way, it's going to be about 1/2 inch as well. Something I did notice too, whenever I was actually installing this one, was this mounting, this threaded portion here isn't super long. So even if you run that back nut all the way down, the length of threading that you're going to get is about 1/4 inch. So keep that in mind. If you have a real thick panel that you plan on running this through, you're still going to have to get the nut on the other side to lock it down, and you don't have a ton of space there. So just something to think about. If your panel's real thick, you might opt for a different type of switch. Just to compare our buyer switch with some of the others, this one's pretty comparable. This one's made by Pollock, and to be honest with you, I like it a little bit better. It's even more compact. Again, kind of just your general purpose switch, but the actual toggle there is a little bit longer, a little bit easier to turn off and on. This one also comes with an on-off plate too, so you got that if you need it. And the threaded portion here is about 1/8 of an inch longer than the buyer's one too, so it might open up your mounting locations a little bit in terms of versatility. Other than that, at the end of the day, simple toggle switch. It can be great for a lot of different things. In terms of the installation, everyone's set up a little bit different. But if you'd like to see how we set up ours here today on my boat, feel free to hang around. We'll go ahead and do that now. To get the switch installed, everyone's setup is going to be a little bit different, but for the most part, it's going to be straightforward. You'll have 2 wires that you need to hook up and a spot to mount up the switch. In our case, since we're just replacing an existing switch, everything's really easy. Don't really have to route or run any wires or drill any holes or anything, since we already have it, like I said, existing in our switch panel. But with that said, we're going to be working right here in this area. First thing that you want to do is get one of these nuts removed. That way when you feed it through your panel or wherever you're going to mount it, and then you'll come back and put that on. That'll secure it. Since there's 2 blades on the switch, you are going to need some spade type terminals to actually hook it up. My wires already had them on there, but if you need them, you can grab them here at etrailer. Really straightforward here. Just simply push them right onto place. So from here, all that's left to do is push this up into our mounting location, get it positioned how we want, and take that nut that we removed earlier and simply just tighten it down. A lot of times you can just do these by hand and that'll work. If you want to, you could always come back with a socket or a wrench and just give it a little extra for good measure. All it's left to do now is make sure the switch is doing its job. Now I know on my panel it says horn. The switch isn't actually controlling the horn. My horn quit working and I did something else with it, but that's the switch I replaced, and I actually used the circuitry to hook up some spot beam lights on the front of the boat. So that's what this is going to control. We'll go ahead, flip the switch. So we got them coming on like they should, and back into the off position, and they work like we'd expect them to. And that'll finish up our look at of the Buyers Products 12-volt toggle switch.